Hi guys, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I'm reviewing The Forgotten Army by Brian Minchin. This is a new series adventure from Doctor Who. It stars, so this one features the 11th Doctor is played by Matt Smith, and Amy Pond is played by Karen Gillan in the television show. This is really early on in season 5 when Amy and when Amy and the 11th Doctor first start traveling together, and so they are trying to feel each other out in this book. And so it's kind of cool to see that early, um, I don't know, like, struggle to figure out the other person. Like, Amy's still surprised by the Doctor. She doesn't know him very well yet. The Doctor's still trying to teach Amy, like, the ways of time travel and going into these situations. So it's kind of cool to see that. It's also a book where they didn't really get to see the television show and the characters developed on screen first. And so Amy especially feels very strange and awkward. Like, she's not what I expected from the television show. She's very obsessed with, like, bossing the Doctor around and, like, really being in control and being in control of guys especially. And it feels very strange, like, how it's just constantly driven in. Like, it's not just once or twice. Like, the entire book, Amy needs to be in charge of these men. And it seems very egotistical. And I mean, Amy kind of does that on a television show, but it's way more pronounced. Maybe it's just because we're narrating her thoughts in this, but that was kind of over the top. So the story takes place in modern New York City, specifically 2010. So this story starts off at the New York Natural History Museum, and a polar mammoth has been found in the ice and defrosted, and it's unveiled for the first time at the museum, and only it's not apparently dead. It starts pooping, and then we find out that it's alive and can move, and it's kind of crazy. And this mammoth is part of this plot by these small little aliens that remind me of Lilliputians, called Vicoids. And they have been waiting for several millennia, like several centuries. And the Vicoids have been waiting for several centuries to take over the Earth. And they got frozen, and now they've thought out and have come up with this plan to capture all the humans in New York, and then, once they do that, they might move on to everything else, one step at a time. So the Doctor and Amy have to stop this army of little tiny aliens from enslaving all of New York. This book is kind of strange even for Doctor Who. Like, it's set in so this book is a little more childish, and it seems a lot more simple than some of the other books. Like, there was no point where I was kind of surprised at what was happening plot-wise. If anything, I was surprised at how long it took the characters to think these things out. Like, we have a live mammoth in the middle of a city. What should we do with it? I don't know, maybe we should take it to the zoo where the elephants are. It just took them way too long to get to that conclusion, and yeah. There are also a lot of poop jokes in here, not just the first unveiling of the mammoth. And there's a scene where we have a guy getting dressed up in women's clothing for comedic effect, and that seems really childish also. Also, the fact that they don't preserve the mammoth before putting on display seems really strange to me also. Like, it's a huge plot point that they haven't inspected the mammoth ahead of time, and that's why it's alive. But, like, if you actually found a frozen prehistoric animal, you would take it to a taxidermist or somebody who can preserve it properly before you put it on display in a museum. So, this book is kind of not the best Doctor Who adventure I have ever read. It's pretty, like, kind of story. Like, I enjoyed reading it, but it's not high literature. This is not some groundbreaking. There's no groundbreaking revelations in here. It's not adding anything huge to the Doctor Who mythos or anything. We're not discovering anything major about the Doctor's character or Amy. So this is pretty much a solid 3 stars. I liked reading it, but I feel like there are so many other Doctor Who books that are way better than this. So I enjoyed it, but I am not in love with this book, is basically what I'm saying. So check it out if you want to. And yeah, peace out. I love you guys, and keep reading. Bye.